good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to this channel, the Sabrina God channel. Here you'll get ideas, you'll get solutions, and most of all, you'll get the truth with no exceptions. I bluntly tell the truth, and the truth is what helps us succeed. The truth is what helps us conquer. The truth is what disposes every destroys every lie and every I almost said something. But yes, it most definitely exposes every lie, and it will keep us from chaos and confusion, and that's the importance of always honoring the truth. It doesn't matter if it's your truth or if it's about you, just always be accountable at all times for your wrongdoings, because the worst thing you could ever do is live a lie. And so, without further ado, let me go ahead and proceed with this episode on today of the truth. First of all, I want to congratulate the champions, the SEC champions, which was South Carolina and Iowa. They are great teams, and they're tough teams, and so they most definitely earned that award without a doubt. And I'm looking forward to see who's going to win the championship this year. It was unfortunate what happened during the LSU and the South Carolina game. I think that they could have absolutely been avoided if the officials would have been calling the fouls, that happened. I know it's an aggressive game. I know that it's going to be some fouls, because even LSU and Iowa's game had a lot of fouling, and it was fouls that wasn't called. And sometimes it was fouls that was called that shouldn't have been called. And sometimes, the players on both teams got away with some fouls. And I mean, it's unfortunate that an official will call a bad game anyway, but sometimes it happens like that. But my point is, in this particular game, it was like no limit. It was no limit to fouling. And when there's no limit to fouling, of course, both teams are going to get aggressive and eventually fight. I was so disappointed with that, just with the little time that I did watch it. I still didn't get to watch the whole game, and I most definitely will do that very soon. I'll get to watch the whole game to see what other fouls occurred. But just watching it between the third and the fourth quarter was ridiculous. I mean, officials and people have to lead. If you do not lead, what happens is it's going to be chaos and confusion every time. And we saw that, unfortunately, on the floor between, great players. One, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. One was defending herself because it had been so much aggressiveness on the floor, to where the player walked up, she was celebrating, that she had got an intentional foul, and Fly J didn't know what she was doing, so she just moved out the way. Because the replays that I saw, you could most definitely see them constantly yelling in faces and stuff like that. So, she just had her guard up and blocking, Watkins from, further getting in her space. But overall, with Cardoso, it was just uncalled for. At the end of the day, it didn't have anything to do with her. And I just hope, as a woman of influence and, a great player, that she really, reconsiders her actions and just try to handle situations better, because the young people are looking up to you. And so everything you do, it matters. Some people care, some people don't care. It's to each his own with that. But going forward, try to control your temper way better than that. And I understand for every action it's a reaction, but that wasn't even on you. You know what I'm saying? And Some people like that when they friends get involved in stuff, they go after, whoever their friend fighting. But to me, that's always been, a sign of weakness. If it's a one-on-one fight, let that be a one-on-one fight. Don't go and jump in on a one-on-one fight. And again, it's to each his own. But I can only tell you, woman to woman, as a woman, I will want you to do better because you are better than that at the end of the day. Just never, you lose opportunities if you can't control your temper. Sometimes people will force you to do that. Sometimes people will, but in this particular situation, there was no reason for that type of reaction. And I just hope, going forward, you can, consider your actions a little bit better. So, like I said, very good game. Like I said, I was aggressive, but they wouldn't step out of character like that. And it's just not to, beat nobody up for their mistakes, because hey, sometimes we get the hot head, we don't really think about what we do. But it is what it is. It happens, and my only hope is that it will not continue to happen, because I hate to see that even from LSU side as well. I'm hoping that there is most definitely a rematch though, because that was a good game and I would like to see another round. So I hope both of them make the championship, but we'll see what happens. Um, Moving forward, I will also, it's Women's Month, so happy Women's Month to all women, and be the best that you can be in everything, in spite the odds. Women endure so much, and we just gotta keep nurturing, and we gotta keep leading the right way. Some men think that women can't lead, but they absolutely are wrong. It's certain things that women can't do that men do better. And I'll just give a quick example. One example is how Kamala went over to UK to talk to Zelensky. I feel like a man should have went to talk to him. Like, even though that's her job, and I'm sure, maybe she negotiate and things like that, but sometimes, in intense situations, it's good just for, a man to handle something. Not to say that he was, aggressive in any way or anything, but when it comes to certain type of business, I feel like, a man should handle that. Some things are just for men to handle, and some things, a woman can handle. A woman can make her own money. A woman can lead. A woman can organize. She can get stuff together. She can make her, like I said, she can make her own money. She could be independent. She can do all those things, but it's still certain things that a woman can a woman can't do, but a man can. And not to stay too long on that, because I want to get to, I want to talk about the Fannie Willis case. That is the most baseless case ever, and I say that in respect to me not really taking the time out to listen to Miss Merchant, because I watched the first trial. It was very, long, and it was just no evidence, and her witness wasn't a reliable source. And even though she feels like Miss Willis violated, because Miss Willis decided to handle, pay, different than what she would have, I guess, preferably preferred, is what I'm getting out of it. Because, she was worried about, how this person lost their job, and this, that, and the other. But then at the end of the day, if this person lost their job and you got a employee that can do two jobs where you don't have to pay this one this amount. You can just pay, give an extra amount to another employee to do both jobs. That sometimes can be cheaper than, having the other worker. But I don't know what happened with that situation, and I don't want to stay on it at all. But I would just say, it was within her privilege to be able to do so. How she hires and how she organizes, her workers, is just completely up to her. With her job title is district attorney, and there was just nothing, illegal that it was nothing that I saw at all that was illegal. That better look crooked, and it probably is. But anyways, I had to rehang it. Let me get back to what I was talking about. But yeah, most definitely, it was just a baseless case. It was all retaliation to because of her client Roman. She don't want him to be, found of any type of crime, and he's gonna be, if they have the evidence, and that's just the point. There's no way out of it, and it's just unfortunate how people will do absolutely anything to reverse, to change, to delay, trials, just because they know they are guilty. And at this point, we the people of the United States are tired of that. Like I've said before, privilege is one thing, but at this point, even when we look at former President Trump, he should have, when he didn't pay that bond, he should have went to jail, because when people usually don't, that's what happens to him. And he's been getting a lot of grace. Trump has been given a lot of grace, and he could have maybe, possibly, not had so many charges if he just wouldn't have came out like he started the 2023 with. He instantly came out praising Hamas, praising Hitler, praising Putin, and these are all dictators, and the United States of America will not accept a dictator. I understand the MAGA regime is, screaming Trump loud, but if they just really consider, as I've said before, imagine not being able to have freedom. Because what we do see from former President Trump is it's either his way or no way at all. And that is a problem to a democracy. And so for people out there that still, indecisive about going to vote, I encourage you to vote, because this is the most important election ever. Don't stay at home. I remember in 2021, I didn't too much really want to vote for Biden, and I didn't too and I wasn't Trump was Trump had some points, as I have expressed before, but I wasn't just going to all out vote for him. When he I'll get to that down the line, but I voted for the Constitution. So my point is still go and vote, but make it count. Because one thing about President Biden, what I can say about him is he is trying to do everything the right way, and doing it the right way counts. He has sense enough to know who the enemy to the country is. I've said that before, and he's also trying to be bipartisan. But right now, what's going on over there in Congress is just, is retaliation, both sides. When it comes to Biden and Trump, they're fighting this thing out. Trump is still, controlling members in Congress, and at the end of the day, that should not even be allowed. I mean, a lot of things have been completely overstepped and allowed to where they wouldn't usually be allowed. And so, you have to stop those type of things from occurring because, you citizens look at that and say, oh, well, if he's doing this, then that means I can do this. And so, and it brings me back to the comment that he made, why black people vote for him. And he said, because, they're criminals. Criminals love him. That was just so disrespectful. And, at the end of the day, if that's why they like you, that's who you are. You still haven't said why white people vote for you, because I would still love to know that as well. And in addition to that, criminals. But you telling people if they loot, you're gonna shoot. So which one? Which one are you? I mean, it's one thing to have an opinion or have a truth about something and then feel a different way about another thing, but your answer should be the same on one specific question. So are you a criminal or you a killer, or you both? You're a criminal and you're a killer. And you want people to think, you want the black people's votes, black Americans votes, brown people votes. You want their votes, but you really don't, care for them because you feel like they poison the blood of the country, which these are some things you was talking about, illegal immigrants. But I'm just, trying to put everything that he has said in context. And like I said, that was really disappointing. So you really don't know what you're going to get, because anytime you could praise Putin, that means that you admire, how he's leading his country. He controls everything. They don't have a democracy. We can't have that over here. So again, why people are, indecisive, or they want to be with Trump because he supported, having the freedom to not take a vaccine and having the freedom to not wear a mask, which is called choice in this context. He was absolutely right on that. But okay, he could be right on that, but then he got all these 10,000 other things that's wrong and unacceptable, and will cost you possibly your freedom and your choice. So in a democracy where he don't have to answer to anyone. That's why democracy is important, because it keeps lawless radicals in control, and it's a standard. When radicals want to get out of control as such. And we have seen it. We have seen it numerous times from him. And at first I was willing to give him that chance, but he really messed up with the criminal comment, and he really messed up praising Hitler, Hamas, and Putin. That was enough for me to most definitely let you know that you do need to register to vote, and you do, by all means, need to go vote and show support for Joe Biden, even though you're not too good with it. And I mean, you may not be too good with it, but we didn't see much from him but nothing was really going on. It was disappointing to know that there were people that in New York that was just out there, stranded after the governor of Texas dropped them off out there, you know, they most definitely should have had them some type of shelter, some type of assistance. I mean, we're giving assistance to Palestine as they rightfully so deserve it. I do wish that they would go ahead and let Palestine, you know, the people from Gaza go ahead and receive that humanitarian aid where they had to be removed from, which was their home. They should be getting that humanitarian aid on their land. They should have tents and everything, you know, if they choose to be there just because of the unfortunate event, you know. They deserve to still have their home, and I just don't understand why so much money is, you know, has been spent that way, you know, when it comes to the air balloons and things like that, which was good because the people was able to receive food and everything. But to me, it just would have been better if they can just go back to Gaza, where they were where they were forced to leave and bombed and killed just because someone who was hiding behind them. That's just injustice, you know. And now I saw a report. I don't know how true it is, but I saw a report that said they was actually trying to bring the humanitarian aid, you know, to the people, and they wasn't allowed in. So I don't know what's really going on there, but if the people can just go back to where they had to leave from, where they was forced to leave from due to bombing and war, they should be fine to receive aid right in that spot. Israel and America are allies, so they should be able to accommodate the people where the destruction has already occurred. You know, Hamas isn't there because it's nothing but rebels now. So what's the problem? It's nothing but rubble. Okay. So, anyways, um, the budget, you know, how, you know, President Biden has, like I said, he has taken action to do what is right. It's just that sometimes it's money that can be unnecessary money, can be spent, you know, even, and I understand, we appreciate him helping, the Palestinians, and we appreciate him trying to help UK, even though it hasn't been passed in Congress due to, former President Trump relationship with, some of the leaders in Congress. I will say that is, it's unfortunate, it's unacceptable as well. I feel, but they are trying to come together on one accord. I think that amendment should be most definitely made to where, it's agreed upon, with the Congress, that when that not getting a bill passed is unacceptable, because that's what they get paid for, to represent their states, and work doesn't stop just because your political leader wants things done a certain way, because then the people of those states suffer. So I think it would be a good idea, and it's also a solution, to go ahead and have some amendments that state these type of things, and both sides can come up with the balance to that, which is really one straight up truth. And as we can agree to disagree, but we will still put forth our efforts to make sure that the people of the United States are not suffering in any way due to our disagreements. And so I think that would be a good amendment, a good amendment to, good legislation anyways, to most definitely push through the House. I kind of skipped over a lot of, things, because I was most definitely talking about the budget and overspending. So that brings me to the border bill. I was listening to the border bill, and let me just know I did see a report that said that it's not even a lot of people out there at that border at all. So that was just, I guess it was made up, or maybe they show up during certain periods. However, it goes, at the end of the day, there was no one out there to where it had to be like this big, ordeal to where they just had to have legislation for the border at that particular moment. We do want our borders secured. We don't want, immigrants to come over here and end up killing someone because that's why they're running from, where they're coming from. But we know not all of the migrants are like that. And it was a big deal with Biden saying illegal immigrant, but at the end of the day, they are illegal until they get legal. In my book, when it comes to that border, they are migrants, but they could be illegal migrants as well, because if you come over here and you're no documentation, you just come into the country, that's what it is. And so, but anyways, not to stay on that, if people who got offended by that, you're not illegal now. You good. But let me I apologize if that offended you in any way, but he's just saying, like, when it comes to like documentation wise, if you don't have your documents, I can understand that. He did apologize for that though. But back to what I was talking about with the border bill, I do feel like the border bill has, unnecessary spending. We do want the asylums and everything to be regulated, and we want it to have regulations, but I just don't think that it will take that amount of money that was requested or asked for, because looking at what I saw, you don't need all those troops out there like that. Something can be solved to where, even if you get like a fence or something, and tell them don't touch the fence, like a electrical wire fence. Don't have a sign out there, caution. Have two security guards or something out there, to let them get to the asylum. Once they get in the asylum, I'm sure they got to have workers in there, and that just shouldn't take all the money that bill was asking for. And so that matters a lot too. When you go to overspending, the idea and the solution wasn't bad at all, to how they wanted to have it set up, but it's just that it shouldn't take that much money to do that. So that was a lot of spending there. We know now that it wasn't about the border, it was just about delaying aid to Ukraine, because again, and witnesses have said that no one was at that border like that. So that was a delay to not pass legislation so Ukraine could get aid. And many people was like, well, should they get a loan or should we just give them money? Well, you know, when it comes to that, I can understand where, that comes into play. If you're struggling yourself, why would you put more money? Well, number one is because they're your allies, and number two, you can't be hurting that bad because I mean, you might. It looks like the United States was in a position to help. Okay, there was this boat that they had for. It was a boat for sale. They was I forgot that. I saw that report. That report. It was a boat that they paid billions of dollars for. I guess it was supposed to be like a war boat or something. And I'm like, what? You spent that much money on that? That most definitely need to go up for rent or something in the UN, in within the United Nations. It's just the budgeting should most definitely just be reconsidered. And I know sometimes people can be too tight and too stingy, and they can help where they don't want to help, but they feel that way, like charging the rich more and everything like that. Yes, I can say I'm not even on the level to the wealth that some people have, but I can tell you as a hard worker that when I work, I don't want my whole check gone either. And that's just with the little earnings that I do, that I am capable of making. So I can imagine, being rich and then having to have a big chunk taken out for XYZ, which, like I say, you should pay your share because everybody else have to, right? And that's one of the reasons why, some people are interested in dictatorship, because they only want to be responsible for them and all this other stuff. But I'm telling you now, it at the end of the day, it won't look good. But what we've been seeing with the increased hike of tax rates and everything like that, just because a political favorite doesn't get what he wants, and then everything increase it. Those type of games have been crazy for the people, for the American people, just making everything high, inflation, causing inflation because, of all these fights between the Democrats and Republicans. So it's like we're going to make the people suffer. And for us to be, giving money, pulling money. I saw South Dakota took out $150 million, saying just for, to keep it secure. These type of things going on. So if this is going on, then there should be no way we should even be, talking about inflation rates when it's money. We have the money. It's just, that type of oppression that wants to be released on the people due to two sides fighting, and the people are in the middle and they are feeling the heat on all of this. And so I'm hoping that, they can come together and just work something out. And, this is because Trump is charged $91 billion in, for this case. And I haven't too much looked in to that Jean Carroll's case. I haven't too much looked into that, but I will take the time out to kind of see what's going on. I'm just the type of person, I don't care if I don't agree with you. I can still tell the truth. I don't have to like you, but I can still be honest about if something is right or wrong. I just won't say that you're wrong just because I don't like you. And that's what's wrong right now with everything that has been going on. No one wants to be honest because it's all about retaliation and revenge. And we as a country will never elevate or move forward with, mentalities like that. I'm going to hurt you because I feel like you hurting me, and I'm finna destroy this. And who are getting hurt is the people. And so, once again, to my point, the budget needs to be reconsidered when bills are passed. Aid for Ukraine, I most definitely, hey, they have to be protected from Putin at the end of the day. I don't know too much know the stipulations on what's going on over there, because I saw something that was just like he was promised Crimea, he was saving Crimea, and then he was about to take over Crimea, and somebody from Britain came over and messed it up. That's what he said during the interview or something along those lines. But I won't focus on that because I don't have the full details and I stay away from confusion, and I do not want to confuse anyone with that. But he most definitely said that, that's the problem because he wants Crimea. Um, Back to the aid, UK is an ally, but it was something that said if they decided to take aid from a foreigner, then that means Putin can get Crimea. And someone will have to help me out on that because I don't know how true that is. And, some people just lie to you. And like I said, I don't have any sources to confirm that that is true. But I guess Zelensky would have had to make a decision whether or not to either take aid and let Putin have Crimea, or take aid and still try to have Crimea, which is why if that's the case, what's going on, then that's why that war is over there. But still, they are fighting for their freedom, and if they are an ally, they're supposed to have our assistance going forward. You know, considering the United Nations that are together, maybe trading resources, not people, not, anything like that, but just resources may be more beneficial, or a good idea and a solution would be to just put something in your bank, every month in the council. So that way, when a war breaks out, it won't just be, coming from all those nations. If they don't have it, they'll have an account everyone has put in on an account, and they just pull from that. That's how that should work. It will make sense to, instead of, because some nations can be in a bad situation where they're not able to back up their ally in war. But if you can save over time and kind of have a savings, so in times of war, it won't be a strain upon a nation. That would be a good solution, I think, as well. But in the meantime, in the between time, I do think, most definitely we should help Ukraine. And somebody was saying, well, Ukraine is racist and all this stuff. Racism exists everywhere. But one thing about it, and two things is for sure, is it's unacceptable. However, people have a choice to be who they want to be. If they want to be a hater, they could be a hater. But, and I've said this before, just let them stay in their lane and you stay in yours, and that will be fine. But one of the worries and the concerns is that, if Trump becomes president, these type of mentalities, to where someone wants to just hurt someone because of the color of their skin or because they're a migrant, these type of activities will occur, and there will be no way to get justice. We've seen firsthand what's been going on in the justice system, how they've been able to manipulate the law, reverse it, just to work in their favor. And these are the things that people have to consider, when they go vote. Because if there's no law, it's gonna be chaos and confusion, period. And we all are different races within this country. Our kids go to school together. The schools are integrated. They want to go and try to pull that apart. Some people, reinstate Jim Crow laws, which would be just absolutely ridiculous at the end of the day, because our kids, they fight. If they decide to go to the military or anything, they are fighting next to someone of a different, race. And so why even train them up in that way, And so, like I said, racism is very ignorant. Again, people have their choice, but they shouldn't be able to impose that upon a person, just like, the government should never try to impose, a law that takes away our freedom and our, choice and our right to justice. Anytime the government does that, it's still a form of dictatorship, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And, furthermore, to that point, I really do think that vaccines and things like that, because it was so much controversy with that particular issue, I think that, something should be amended. There needs to be legislation on that, ensuring that we do have a choice, to get these things, even though it should be understood. Most definitely, but that goes back to COVID. Like I said, some places, you were able to sign an exemption, not to get the vaccine. And some employers wanted you to have it, or you couldn't have a job. And so, like I said, even during that time, President Biden, he still, he changed it to where it could be possible for people to have that right or not, because at first, it was said like you had to get the vaccine, but he still went and, revised it to where you still had a choice. And that's just like, he also, that's with that gun law too. He just said you just won't be able to have an assault rifle. It won't take away your Second Amendment. You just can't have an assault rifle. And so, even though people still are going, either way, people will still find a problem with, anything, like it's never good enough, no matter what you do. But my point is that he is trying to make it better. He can't make anything better if we're not able to voice our opinions, if we're not able to voice our concerns, which brings me over to the point of freedom of speech and creativity. It was a lot of things going on where people did not want, what was it? Yeah, I'll just say this: in the YSL case where they're trying to use the lyrics against the rapper. And it's like, you how are we doing that? And I mean, if you would take away the freedom of speech, then that means, no one would be able to speak out. No one would be able to voice their opinion. And that's what's been going on. When things work in people's favor, it's not a problem. But the moment that they don't like what someone says, or the moment that they don't, they want to retaliate against someone, those freedoms are not okay. Like even in Florida, DeSantis, he was doing critical race theory, and he wanted to destroy woke, and Trump just told him that he couldn't take away woke because people have the freedom of speech. Well, that's fine, but then you shut down Facebook, or it's just crazy. It's just crazy, the way these things have worked. But my main concern is what's been going on in the justice system. It is not right for people to be able to reverse laws to accommodate someone. It's just that is most definitely out of hand, and that's what you most definitely see in the Fannie Willis and the Merchant case, because Miss Merchant was upset that again her client was being charged, so she tried to find anything possible that she could to make Fannie Willis look like she was guilty. She even went so far to worrying about her and maybe Harris, I think it, because I don't think it was Pence, sharing information with Fannie Willis about January the 6th. She was really upset about that. And the thing about it is they can do that. They can share that information because she is prosecuting former President Trump. So she had to have access to that information. And this gave him he felt like it was okay once that happened to go ahead and take the classified documents to his house, which caused him to get another charge, which was, like I said, he's just been reckless with the way, he's handled things to this point, and he does need to be accountable for it, because that is the law of the land, to be accountable for your wrongdoings. And he has been given several pats on the back. He has been given grace time and time and time after again, and it's like it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And so that has to be stopped while we do have a democracy, while we do have a law that holds someone accountable, and it shall be so. Now, I don't know, again, what's going on with that Jean Carroll case. I have to look into that. I know it's like defamation of character, and she just opened up another case and sued him again. Please keep that lady name out your mouth, whatever. But, I know that people can sometimes overcharge you and tax you for things that it could go too far. And I know at this point, some people like, I don't care what he get because he deserves it, and like I say, I'll have to look more into that case, but that's just unfortunate how he has attempted to delay his court days, the court cases. There shouldn't be a delay because you want to run for the president of the United States. There should not be a delay. The people need to know whether they're going to have you on the ballot or not. Excuse me. Which is why all this delay has occurred, because that is most definitely why he is afraid of this. But most people, when they get a charge as such, charges like him, they usually do have to, stay in jail, for all the times that they have been charged, and he's been given grace to do that. Now, I tell you all the time that your affiliation does not mean that you agree with a person just because you're affiliated with them. I want to use, for an example, I can use several examples, but I'll go here first. An affiliate. Okay. I know some people may like to tie President Trump to Young Thug. Not try. This is what's going on in Fannie Willis case, the DA case with the YSL RICO charge. She, I guess that's supposed to be connected to maybe Trump. I don't know, but I will say the gang members is the rioters of January the 6th. That's the gang members. Young Thug, whatever he had going on, or if you have evidence, then so be it, it's fine. But if your evidence just consists of the lyrics from his song, that wouldn't be evidence, because anyone can make a song, anyone can make a movie. And because of this, this is why Hollywood was shut down. This is why people couldn't even have a freedom of speech, because people didn't want truth to be spoken. But if we can't have a freedom of speech, then that means that I couldn't even sit up here and tell you, hey, I think you should go vote for President Biden again. That's my freedom of speech. This is my creativity, and it should be allowed. It is allowed. It's my First Amendment to be able to do it. I have a right to do it. So when people start trying to take away your freedom, that is oppressing people. And anyway, I don't care what side does it, whether it's Democrat or Republican. But what people like to do these days is they like to say, oh, I agree with my party, so this not wrong, and then when it happens to them, this messed up, what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. And so just stick with the truth in all things. Like I tell you, at the end of the day, make sure you do so. But I think affiliate affiliate the rapper, in ties to what Trump have going on, I think that is very wrong. And I think Ms. Willis, at DA Willis, at this point should know how that feels, because Ms. Merchant just did the exact same thing to her, just because she had a relationship, with Nathan Wade after, they got together after he got the job. You try, just because she knew him by affiliation, she tried to make it a relationship. And so, you know, it's just always good to have a little mercy, at the end of the day. But that's the choice. Like I say, the evidence would still have to prove it beyond his lyrics. Beyond his lyrics. I feel that, that shouldn't be used to hold someone accountable for, a crime, when you know that there is rap music. We don't do everything right. Maybe if he's advised to do it in another way, he'll do it different. But at the end of the day, people have that right, like people have the right to create movies. So I feel, that any song is creativity, and any song is expresses freedom of speech. So, and another thing I want to know is, I heard Ms. Merchant say that her client was offered a plea deal, which is even more of the reason why she shouldn't have even been in there, because they have did nothing to violate your client. I mean, at least he got a plea deal. I don't even think, the rapper got a plea deal, and he probably didn't get a plea deal because it's probably no evidence for him to receive a plea deal. So, but most definitely those the real gang members is the January the 6th riot, and they've already been to court and more. And what was their sentences? Who knows? And it would be unfortunate, to do all these things with court and all this delay, and people that's been involved with January the 6th and, other cases have gotten shorter sentences than people, black and brown Americans. And that's something that needs to also be legislation, when it comes to justice, because we see how, the justice system has been mishandling everything, especially concerning, this case. And so, another thing with affiliation, I know a lot of people like to connect. I've heard Trump say it several times about connecting President Biden, to celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z. He said that so many times, and he may, receive contributions from them, and he may have a relationship with them. But the things that's been going on with Beyonce and Jay-Z, it doesn't mean that President Biden has anything to do with it at all. And speaking of that, because I did say affiliation, people condemn you just for being affiliated with people. And I'm going to use, for an example, I'm going to use DOB, because these are people that's been accused. These are people that's been accused of doing people wrong, not paying them their money, or, just oppressing them in some type of way. And so there was someone else, though, I had wanted to start with before I got over there. I think it was, give me one moment. Because I'm gonna come back and make this shorter, too. Oh, yeah. guilty by affiliation or guilty by association. I want to use for an example TD Jakes. They tried to say that he was a homosexual just because he gave his answer, his commentary to the LGBTQ community. He was asked, was that wrong? And he said, it wasn't. And so, with that being said, people, affiliated him with that activity. And then they, saw him with Diddy, P. Diddy, which is now, he has multiple lawsuits on him for, improper sexual activities, SA, and everything above. And so, but back on his commentary, he made that statement, and like I said, they instantly put him, in that category. But I agree with what CeCe Winans said. CeCe Winans, she just gave a truthful answer straight up, and she said, oh no, when they was talking about him hanging with Puff Daddy, she made a truthful statement. She said one time Whitney Houston asked her to be in her video, and she said it was I'm Every Woman. She wanted CeCe to be in that. And she said when she heard the first lyrics, I Can Cast a Spell, she said she hurry up and told Whitney Houston no. And so, that's just an example of it's, you don't have to act like you all that, over people that you lead and you teach, but you still want to direct them in the right way. You want to tell them the truth so that way they won't get misled, while they're, following the word of God, which that is a, pastor's job or, a leader's job to, tell the people truth and make sure that they are going on a wrong path. I believe that God does hold them accountable for that, at the end of the day. But again, that's where I think they are condemning TD Jakes, is because he said that it was okay, for people to, like, it doesn't say it's wrong in the Bible, and that's a lie. And I know that, it does say that in the Bible that God is displeased with that. And if that wasn't his commentary, I apologize, but that's my understanding of what he said, and that is, biblically would be incorrect. Now, his affiliation with Puff Daddy, I would most definitely say, what CeCe Winans said. She just said it's just certain things you supposed to know, not to do or, agree to. And so that would be true. And you can have righteous judgment. People like to judge in other areas and look down on people. That's a different type of judgment. We're talking about what God, expects from his leaders, righteous judgment. You have to get them right. Even if, you're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? We all may have our little flaws or whatever, but you still don't want to mislead anybody. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, is God is going to be them and God on Judgment Day. You might, you got to tell them the truth. So just because, someone is affiliated with people that do certain acts, that don't mean that they was involved. Like what P did, Diddy was in, he may not have agreed with that, but those comments about, him not standing up and correcting that particular issue makes it seem like that. But moving on, so we know about Puff Daddy. We know about him. That's unfortunate. I would have never thought, and that's another reason why I most definitely don't feel bad about, not being quick to connect with people and everything, because you need to take time out to know people. You need to make sure, they are who they say they are. They look good as a celebrity and everything like that, but I would have never thought that he was into all this activity. But moving on, okay, that's D Diddy. Then you got Oprah. Oprah, not paying people and things like that, and oppressing people, don't want not wanting them to speak out and tell the truth. And when I saw that report on her, I instantly thought about how, and this again, this is a report, this is alleged, this is not true. I don't believe in, you know doing that to people. Something is either true or not, and we don't know it to be true, so we will say allegedly. I remember a little minute ago they were saying that she, was having those children over there in Africa, essayed and things like that, which was very, unfortunate. I hope that's not true. But they said that she owns a floor within the Crown Plaza where Kanika Jenkins was found over there, and I don't know how true that is. They claim that's what she was doing with the girls' school, bringing them to the Crown Plaza where Kanika Jenkins was found. But I don't know how true that is. Again, that's just what it is. So, Diddy, Oprah, and then Beyonce. We just heard, I think the lady name is Tiffany Red. We just heard her say how, she wrote songs that Beyonce never paid her for. That is very unfortunate. Again, these are people that I would have never, thought possessed any type of character like that. That's why when I was going live, and people was imitating everything that I was doing, whether it be my cheetah that I wear or my yellow that I wear or, my tan that I wear. When I saw people imitating that, I didn't get excited about it because, I don't know. I don't know them like that. So, it doesn't excite me. The name, who they are, don't excite me, because anybody could root you on and cheer, but who are they as a person? Character is important. And so let me move on from D.O.B. and get to, now they claim Jay-Z has did something too. I don't know if it's the same thing Beyonce did. I have no idea because I didn't look at that broadcast, but I don't know what they're saying he's done. And again, this is, allegedly, because I believe that you're innocent until proven guilty. But since we said D.O.B., we want to get to D.O.J., because if it's not Beyonce, then it's Diddy, Oprah, and Jay, which again, I don't know what he allegedly did or whatever. I'll have to take a look at it later. So D.O.B., D.O.J. And what I wanted to say about DOJ, Department of Justice. I wanted to say that it would be a good idea, since the Republicans in Mississippi have took it upon themselves to try to, overturn the law that gives mail-in ballots, at least 5 days, so they can be a 5-day grace period, so they can be counted in elections. They want to overturn that. And so I think most definitely, even though I know that the courts can handle this situation, I think that's something that the DOJ should most definitely take up if they're, interference wise of an election, even if it's coming from a state. It seems like it would have to go there first, that would be good for them to do. And then also, I was looking at that ruling in the Supreme Court concerning Amendment 14, Section 3, that says if a president, is involved in insurrection, then they should be disqualified. That amendment is as it is stated. They want to say that the former President Trump is not an adjudicant for insurrection, but that's only because he hasn't really went to trial for it. He went to trial for it in Colorado. He didn't show up, and that trial should have, most definitely counted, and a lot of laws, have been reversed in regards to that to not make him guilty. But what these lawyers don't realize, even concerning Miss Merchant, even concerning the Supreme Court justices, you still, you're still accountable for the license that you hold. You would jeopardize it. And I guess they think it's because Trump is going to win the election, but you can have your license taken away, your law license. You can lose your job for letting these type of things go on. And I guess that's where Biden has to get busy at, to let them know that he's not playing with them. This is serious. I mean, when a citizen get these type of charges, they have to, endure the penalty, for breaking the law. And that should be the same way. In spite of him, he is a citizen right now because he is a former president. So he is just a citizen right now. And so they should most definitely be moving all of these blocks and all of these reversals just to accommodate him. But it's most definitely, like I say, back and forth war in between them. I think right now, just let me just give you a petty example of what they'll do. Like I said, D.O.B., that was Diddy, Oprah, Beyonce, say, they'll try to connect that to Joe Biden, and then connect the YSL case to Trump. And the battle in between them, both sides, is probably why the interest rates are like they are, so on and so forth. And they don't even have to be. It's just concerning, I feel, either DOB or DOJ at the end of the day. It's either DOB or DOJ. This is what this war is concerning between these two sides, and the people are in the middle of it. And so I'm going to remain hopeful that these things can be fixed, because there is no reason, like here in Mississippi, there is nowhere in the world, which a couple of jobs did get a raise, but ever since Katrina, the cost of living here has went well beyond its means. Where you can get a 1-bedroom, it used to be $450 to $600. Now a 1-bedroom is like, $900, and up. And a 2-bedroom, could be 12, up. So it just, it depends. But when you have that going on, and then the rent is high, the food is high, it's like, where, and no relief just because of this war, between groups, and then the war between groups, and then in addition to the groups war, you got, like I say, higher interest rates and all these things, when it don't have to be. All it needs to be is a conversation. People get together on one accord, and I'm confident at the end of the day that they will be so, because both sides probably have some illegal activity going on, and however they make their money. But if they just trying to save this person from this and save this person from that, then America, the whole thing would eventually fall. And so my main concern, which is a lot of concern for people that vote for Democrats, is the way that they spend money. People, which I feel Joe Biden when he added jobs to the market, he should have considered that more people was working from home, more people have, businesses on YouTube versus getting out and going to work. And so I just want to let other people know, because I hear a lot of talks about migrants. You can't get mad when they have a job. They want to go and work, and you're on YouTube. And so they have a choice to do that. But I would most definitely still secure a job, being that, all it takes is for someone to pull a plug, on anything, and that's it from that. And so I think that's what happened, excuse me, with Facebook money and stuff like that. I have to go back and see. Like I said, I don't want to repeat anything that's not true. That's what, yeah, I won't do that over here. You gonna get the truth, nothing but the truth. And I'm very careful about saying allegedly and, you know, supposed to be and maybe, yeah, because that's important. And yeah, so it's unfortunate, but most definitely, I would say if it's something concerning DOJ, I would say if they are penalized, that should go for that should pay out reparations for people. You know, a lot of migrants, a lot of, different races was able to receive reparations for when America, may have made a wrong move, like in World War I. And those, all of them have been accommodated, their families, their generations. But when it comes to the black and brown race, it seems like when people go and talk about reparations, it's forgotten about. It's given in free food, or it's given in free health care, and some, and not to say free, that's an example. Don't take off and run with it. That's just an example. We would prefer reparations where we get that opportunity to purchase property for $1.24. We would like reparations to where, we actually see the money, from our ancestors being slaves unwillingly, and we just have not saw those reparations. And I look at how all this money is being pulled and secured, like 1.5 million for Donald, 150 million, excuse me, over in South Dakota. I look at things like that. That need to be money paid back to the people's ancestors that were slaves in this land unwillingly. We have yet to see that. So we hope that that can come from DOB and DOJ in some type of way. And then, yeah, because it's just unfortunate what's going on right now. Let me see. Oh, and then on top of that, we need a stimulus. The people need a stimulus from all this mental abuse and the mind games that Congress has been playing, to even, for us to even be in a position to even be considering that a dictator may run this country. That's a lot. That's a lot on the citizens. And then to watch them do nothing just to accommodate their political like. They get a check every day. We're paying them. They don't want to put in. They don't feel like they should pay taxes. But then we're paying you out of our taxes as well. And you're doing nothing. So, yeah, we should most definitely get a stimulus from this show that's been going on. But like I said, they are trying to work it out and be bipartisan. Again, the IVF treatments, that's most definitely, a violation of freedom of choice. It should if that's what people want to do with their eggs, that should not even be bothering anyone. They have a right to do so. And again, that's just like telling, the same people that tried to pass that law will be the very ones that'll tell you they're not taking a vaccine, they don't have to wear a mask. So it's got to be balanced on both sides at the end of the day. I think I pretty much went over everything. I did hear President Biden say that he was going to add affordable homes. I would say I tried to get one a long time ago. I think I was in my 20s, and the only thing was because I didn't have no kids, the only home that I was offered was a one bedroom, and that is, you might as well get an apartment. You shouldn't make that out of a house for sure. So I wouldn't say make them affordable, I'd say make them reasonable. Like maybe some homes that's $600, about $600 for rent, or about $850 for two bedrooms and things like that. That would make more sense than giving too much of a cut, because if the demand don't match, then my bad, then it's gonna be bad. So yeah, I think you should just add more reasonable homes, and but just don't make them affordable, because there's plenty of those, and it's just actually some people that don't mind paying that, 1,500 for a 3 bedroom house or something. That's the way it used to be. I mean, what's going on right now is really not a bad thing. Again, it's only bad because of the retaliation, you know, in between both sides. If they can stop that, this could really work. We're at a good spot right now. So we'll just see if our leaders can, pull it together. And that's what risks the Republicans even keeping a position in the House right now, because of this type of performance. Again, I've told you that there are some good Republicans, but right now it's like, you know, they feel like they just have to, some of them feel like they just can't do what's right and have to support the MAGA regime on everything. And it's just important to remember those representatives. Remember those representatives. Most definitely remember them, and keep them in office, because like I said, Republicans are important. Not all of them are racist. Not, and even if they are, as long as they can do what's right, like Senator Graham, he may be racist. I don't know too much about him. That's his choice if he want to be. But I know one thing about it: he stood up when it came to that military, situation to Tuberville, and so you need men and women like that will actually protect the country. Somebody got to tell the truth, even though their people, the majority of their party will not stand up and do what's right, because that's what you're there for, this country at the end of the day, and not your political best friend. So we'll see how this all plays out. Once again, that's what's going on. Like I said, we are going to go ahead and go for President Joe Biden. I will be voting Joe Biden this year. I encourage you to most definitely do that, because we want to keep our freedom and we want to keep our democracy. At the end of the day, we don't have time to play those type of games, that's being played, with the former president, the classified documents. And these cases need to be taken up. These cases need to go through. He needs to go ahead. That way, if he has to do his time, he'll do his time, but he's not wanting to, so he's trying to delay it. And so these lawyers and judges know what to do. They already know, because at the end of the day, just like he's not above the law, they're not either. So it's that part. I think I pretty much covered everything. I knew this was going to be a long live, but most definitely those amendments that I talked about, Oh, there is two more things I would like to talk about. The voting rights. There needs to be a legislation passed to where voting rights is not ever reversed or threatened or eliminated in any way. We need to get that most definitely to the floor. And DOJ, I was just wondering like how these jails really been, ran lately. But I won't go into that. I do want to say it was something else. Oh, education. I like what Biden was saying about how he's going to make sure that kids are reading by the third grade. We did when we was in school. Actually, it was kindergarten, but I did talk to a teacher while I was in Portland, Oregon, and she did inform me that there were kids that were in the fifth grade and they were not reading properly as they should be. And so that is a real thing. Social Security should never be on the line to be destroyed. It's too much money in this country, and you know, I've been working since I was 15 years old. So I want all my coins. I want all my money when I get ready to retire. I sure do. I want every bit of the Social Security that I paid since the age of 15. And for you young people out there, don't hesitate to get a job. If you do YouTube and everything, I understand that. I mean, that's more fun. That'll be more fun than working any type of job. I absolutely understand that. But, encourage your friends and everything to work so you can start getting you some responsibility and so on and so forth. It's just good effort to do. No one wants to be a slave though. Nobody wants to be working and not getting the money for working. Wealthy people feel that way too, but sometimes some of them don't understand that. But Social Security should never, never be being considered to end. What else? I think I pretty much got everything. Oh, I already talked about, taxing the wealthy. I talked about that. I feel like if they feel like they're not the tax that they're still paying too much, President Biden offered a solution for that. He said, see what the tax codes make either consider tax codes, come up with an idea for some tax codes or something. He said he's willing to look at that for sure. So, and in education, I would say that some of these school activities are just too high. Like for cheerleading activities, $1,600 could be $3,200. $20 to go to homecoming dances. That is ridiculous for parents to even have to think about paying that amount for, a school function. What happened to the day where cheerleading and things like that was only, $300 for a whole year? This is just ridiculous how citizens, even children, are being taxed. It doesn't make any sense at all, and that most definitely should be considered. I mean, there are kids. You want them to be able to enjoy what they, can't, for the people, especially the people that can afford it, but you make it hard for the ones that can afford it, much less the ones that can't. It's just, it should most definitely be considered. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this live now, and I'll come back a little later on. I may not post this somehow, whether I post it or not, I can still be seen, and that's still very weird, and I don't know where that's coming from, but hopefully that'll be revealed sometime soon. So, again, Happy Women's Month to all the women. I most definitely honor the two most phenomenal women of my life, my grandmother Vera Mae McGee and my mother Carolyn June Guy, and I give God glory to have the pleasure of them raising me. And I'll be back again with more commentary and everything a little later on a later note. I think that I did cover everything that I wanted to. I didn't quite dig into the 14th Amendment, Section 5, but I will be doing that soon, and I'll be back with you soon. Until then, enjoy your day and stay true. Thank you.